So we will now move to the PR2 mixed double scull. This is the first A final of the day for us, and we will see the fastest qualifier as the crew from Great Britain. And I'm interested to see how this one pans up. Great Britain and the Netherlands over here on lanes 5 and 6. And there's the rest of the field.
Yeah, the full lineup for this medal race. Brazil, Poland, Ukraine, France, Netherlands and Great Britain. Here's the lineup for Brazil. Michel Pessanha in the stroke seat.
In lane 2, Poland.
Poland's Jolanta Majka, closest to you.
In lane 3, Ukraine.
Ukraine here in lane 3.
In lane 4, we have
France in lane 4.
In lane 5, the Netherlands, Anneke van der Meer and Connie de Koning.
Anneke van der Meer, Connie de Koning, already successful in the singles events, coming into the double. And their greatest rivals here from Great Britain, Lauren Knowles and Lawrence Whiteley.
So Paralympic qualification assured for all 6 of these boats. This is all now about the medal positions.
That's a relief, isn't it? We don't have to look at who's coming where in these races. Just the first 3 boats will medal, and great start from the 2 crews on this side of the course. The Dutch will be under pressure like they've never seen before. Double world champions in 2017 and 2018, Anneke van der Meer and Connie de Koning. They did have the fastest first 500 in their semi-final, 1:56, almost a second and a half quicker than 1:57.5 for the British. So expect the Dutch to lead early on, but expect the British to show strongly in the second part of this race. Very, very little fade the British have between the first and second quarters.
So that's the bow ball of the Dutch boat, as Martin's saying, expecting from the performance in the regatta so far to see these guys at the front of the race, and here they are. Long reach of Anneke van der Meer in the bows, really effective in the water.
Yeah, she does really maximise that body length in order to keep up with Connie de Koning and get maximum length and keep those arcs very much together, and that's helped them move up to nearly boat length lead as they're coming up through about 350 metres.
Well, relatively, that's more of a lead than their time would suggest in the semi-final. I just wonder where, you know, both these athletes have raced in the PR2 single sculls category, and I just wonder how much that will play into this race. Of course, Britain, Lauren Rose and Lawrence Whiteley choosing not to enter that category, so they've had less races than the Dutch.
We're having a look here at boat number 6. That is Lauren Rolls in the bow seat, Lawrence Whiteley in the stroke seat. And you can see they're slightly, they're slightly higher rating, but they still look just a little bit more connected kind of through the middle. Like it's a really tough kind of gearing and a shorter stroke they do. So a slight kind of difference in terms of their approach to this.
Well, we come through to the first marker in this head breeze. Netherlands through in 2:02.83. Just to give you an idea, that's about 6 seconds slower than the semi-finals, where conditions are quite different. So this is going to be a slow race. I think that'll play into the hands of the British, but if the semi-final splits are anything to go by, then these British will really start to motor in the second quarter and move back and eke into that Dutch lead. You can see they're doing it already. Look at that, it's so impressive. They've absolutely nailed it, haven't they, in the first part of this second quarter of the race.
It'd have taken half a boat length and about 5 strokes there coming through from 500.
Well, all important to keep your eyes in the bottom right on that graphic. You can see the British are the fastest moving now. That gap is just ticking around between 5, 6 or 7 metres as we take a look at the Brazilian crew. They are in a race for the bronze medal with the crew from Brazil. And again, that one is really tight. The Brazilian crew up there in lane number 1 as we take a look now at the Ukrainians.
Yeah, in third place, the Ukrainian crew, Svetlana Bohuslavska, furthest away from you, and Yaroslav Kuda, the familiar features of Kuda in the stroke seat for Ukrainian. Both of those athletes 31.
that car position we had was showing us pretty much how close it was in that race for the bronze medal, the third and fourth position. We take a look now back with the French fairly firmly in the fifth position.
Give some heart to crews on that far side lane one if Brazil can be competitive with the Ukraine, maybe get a medal from that far side of the course. But here we have the British challenging the Dutch early lead. Really strong in his core, isn't he, that British stroke man, Lawrence Whitley, the Paralympic champion with Lauren Rolls in Rio in 2016. And so far, the British have had a good second quarter, but the Dutch have fought off the British move, and Whitley and Rolls will have to find something extra in this third quarter now. What a great response from the Dutch to that British charge.
Yeah, the Dutch have really pushed back on the British. I don't think the British are going to be disheartened by that, though. We've seen really strong second half from them earlier on in the regatta. Looking like a two-part race here as these boats coming down now, racing effectively for the bronze medal. There's too far to make up for silver and gold now, surely. Here is that race between the first two crews.
Well, will the experience of the crew from the Netherlands, Anneke van der Meer and Corné de Koning, now be able to help them as the British are starting to look to close that gap? You can see it's now 5 metres. It was moving around between about 6 and 8, and it almost seems like in the first 250, after the big markers, the British have been able to make a move. In the second 250, the Dutch were able to resist that. Is that going to be the same pattern?
Yeah, that's like a little game of cat and mouse between those 250-metre markers. The Brits are doing well here to use that cat and mouse game to move up on the Dutch. Just a look here at that strong stroke from Corné de Koning in the front of the Dutch crew.
Yeah, Britain moving ever closer in this third quarter. We went through the 750 metres to go, and he looks straight down the boat, doesn't he? British stroke man Lawrence Whitley. He will sense the fact that their bows are drawing ever closer to the bows of the world champions, Anneke van der Meer and Corné de Koning. Their title is under threat now from this resurgent British crew.
Well, the crew from Great Britain have won the last 250, if you like. They have been the quickest between the 1,000 and the 1250. Can the Dutch crew respond as they did in the previous 500, or will this British crew keep moving? It looks from this shot like the British crew have managed to keep moving, and I think pretty much for the first time, and they're just going to show that bow in first place from lane number 6.
Yeah, they're just squeezing ahead now, the British crew. That strength of Lawrence Whitley in the stern of this boat, backed up by Lauren Rolls. He looks really relaxed there. They've just taken their rate up slightly. They're at 38 strokes a minute.
Now, he might look relaxed, but you can imagine how hard he's working in that core, shoulders and arms, drawing that boat out and increasing that lead. It's now 5 metres with 500 metres to go.
This is new territory for the Dutch. That's the Ukrainian double, Bohuslavska and Kuda, coming through in third place over on that far side. Brazil have dropped out of the medal race over there in lane 1, and it's Poland, or sorry, it's the French now over there in lane 4 who are in 4th place. So here we go, new territory for the Dutch. What have they got? De Koning and Anneke van der Meer. How can they respond? They've still got contact with the British, but Whitley and Rolls now edging out ever more. You can see the speed has maintained the same. The Dutch just maybe a tenth of a kilometre faster. They've not lost contact. They did have a faster last quarter than the British in the semi-final, but the British weren't pressed in that race. Neither were the Dutch.
They do still have contact, this Dutch crew, as you say, Martin. That bow is still overlapping, still only about half a length from the British. They move through. Will they be able to carry on moving, or could the Dutch possibly dig deep enough as they've got to the red buoys the last 200 metres or so? Can the Dutch possibly come back from here, or is this one Great Britain's from now to the line?
Just got to keep your head in the British boat, just keep those blades, clear the water. Just that style, they're edging out now to a clear water lead. Lawrence, yeah, go for it,
Yeah,
Kat.
I think the Dutch have run out of steam here. The Brits continue to move away from them. They've got more than a length now. Britain down at 35. The Dutch have raised it to 33, but Great Britain really strong in the water here in this closing stage.
So this first A final of the day, first Paralympic boat class A final that we've seen on this course, and and it's a new set of world champions, Lauren Rolls and Lawrence Whitley. They took the world title back in 2015 over 1,000 metres. They won the Paralympic title in Rio over 1,000 metres. We haven't seen them together since, but now they're back again to take a gold medal in the PR2 mixed double sculls, ahead of the double world champions from the Netherlands. And we wait for the race for third place. The French have come through the Ukrainians in the last sprint for the line, and Pelo and Christophe Levine, we haven't seen that. You can just see them there. Crew in lane 4 have got through the Ukrainians. Heartache for Buslavska and Kuda from the Ukrainians, but the French will come through to take a bronze medal, a well-deserved bronze medal in this race. An absolute delight from the French bowwoman Pelo who strikes the water. The Ukrainian strokeman Ladislav Kuda lays back in the boat.
A great last 500 from the French there. They were 4 seconds behind the crew from Ukraine with 500 to go, but they had held something back, moved on nicely to get through for that bronze medal. Just as this crew had used their race well, they were calm, they were confident early on when the crew from Netherlands got out in front, but they knew their pace, they got into their rhythm and came through in that third quarter, and then the fourth quarter hit the front, and then they were never going to give up that gold medal from there on.
And it'll be a silver medal for these two, Van der Meer and de Koning from the Netherlands.
Such a close race there, wasn't it? Puts you in mind of those races between Eric Holly and Roman Polyansky in the PR1 category of the single sculls. So the replays off the start. Look at the core strength of the British strokeman Lawrence Whitley. Didn't get them into a lead early on, but they and their coach Tom Dyson will know that it was the middle 1,000 metres that really counted in the race for gold and silver between Britain and the Netherlands. Jaroslav Kuda there, and his partner Svetlana Bohuslaya in the race for the medals all the way until the last 500 metres. So powerful. Puts me in mind of Pete Lambert in the men's quad, actually, the way that Lawrence Whiteley sculls at the finish. Back end of the stroke, really, really powerful.
So really powerful back end of the stroke there from Lawrence Whiteley. We see him finishing that stroke off, maximising the length. As we see this crew from the Netherlands, great slow motion shots, and Lauren Rolls pointing to the skies and celebrating that gold medal for the crew from Great Britain. You see Pelo there, also leaning forward to shake hands with Christophe Levine, her stroke man, as they celebrate their bronze, and we'll see it confirmed there.
And there we have it, gold for Great Britain, silver for the Netherlands, bronze for France, ahead of Ukraine, Brazil and Poland in the PR2 mixed double sculls.
Well, I'm taking a little stand up here and looking at the water, and we did have this little cross headwind which caused us to reallocate the lanes, and I'm trying to look at the water, and to me it looks like there's not so much in it at the moment when I look at the water.
Yeah, the wind's dropped a bit, hasn't it?
It does look like the wind's dropped, and the direction, it's hard even to guess what the direction is. I'm looking across the course, there's some flags on the other side, they're flickering, as we can see. A little bit of nature in action.
How can that seagull eat that fish? There's not enough room in its tummy for it, is it?
Well, let's see if how long we're going to stick with this little bit of wildlife watch here and see. That's a little bit unpleasant, actually. I'm feeling just slightly squeamish right now watching this.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Oh, and it looks like it's going down.
How's it going to take off now?
Oh, by flapping its wings, I think.
Yeah, it can't get off. Too heavy.
Too heavy payload on board. Not like this drone that has a small camera on board and it's flown way up above the course. We see those flags flapping. Those are near the sort of entrance way where you walk in.
Yeah, the wind's just blown up.
Not visible from our position here.